All right, YouTube. It's me, Jacob Tucker, back at it again for another YouTube video. Wow, I haven't done that in a while, but it feels good to be back. So I'm making a video now because if you saw in the Flow Discord, there's a new spork coming out on MainNet. Basically, what that means is there's going to be some Cadence updates. So there's actually going to be a pretty significant update for those of you that are interested. It's on account storage iteration. And anyway, you can get an explanation here. I'm going to put a link to this update in the description. Thank you to the Flow team for writing this up. But I'm going to help you sort of understand what this is, what it can be used for, and how to write it in Cadence. So there's some other updates like conversion functions, some improvements to type checking and stuff like that. I'll leave that for a different video or for you to figure out on your own. But I think storage iteration is an important enough update for you to, to maybe want to watch this video. So anyways, let's go ahead. So sort of to give some context, by the way, I just have like a CDC file open up so we can run some scripts on testnet. It's currently live on testnet. That's why I'm able to do this. But in a week, this will be available on mainnet. I believe we can even check the official release date here. On November 2nd. Okay, so this is coming to mainnet on November 2nd. Now, to give some context about what storage iteration is, it's basically a way for you to loop over all the storage paths or public paths or private paths inside of an account on Flow. Right now, that doesn't exist. It's pretty hard to know what's inside of a user's account because there's no way to iterate over storage paths. But now that is an option. So previously, there were things like NFT catalog. There were other, you had to apply to Blockto to get your NFT collection supported on certain wallets. And this was all because there was no iteration on account storage. So you had to sort of let the network know that you had an NFT collection or you had something that, needed to be recognized in a user's account. But because of account storage now, we can sort of do these things automatically. So things like displaying your NFTs in a wallet or displaying your NFTs on a website, all these can actually be done now by us because it's available in Cadence now. So pretty cool. So I guess really what it is you can first of all access all the public paths, private paths, or storage paths on an account. So why don't we do that first just to get an idea of what this is? So what we can do is we can actually pass in a user address to our script. And what I'm going to do is just say, okay, let public account. This is going to be a public account type. And I'm going to say this equals get account of the user. So this is a public account, and what that means is we can basically get the public paths on the account. So let's try it. Let's return public account dot, and then what is this called? Public paths. Okay, so public paths. Now this is going to return an array of public paths. So let's try it out. So let's open up a little terminal here, and I'm going to run flow scripts execute /test.cdc. I'm going to paste in a little test address I have here. Oops, right here. Network equals testnet. So if we look at the results here, this is a little hard to read, but these are all the public paths inside of our account. So I don't know, pretty cool. Actually, let's just run this again just to see. Oh, oops. That's because I'm running it on this test script. I should be running it on iteration.cdc. Sorry, because I'm in this file. I was wondering why it was giving me a weird output. Iteration.cdc. So here we go. So here's an array of all of our public paths in our account. You can see I've had some pretty interesting public paths. This is all in testnet, so I think these are all from me testing my Touchstone platform. But anyways, these are all the paths in my account. So pretty cool, right? And one thing that a lot of people don't know actually is that you can also get the auth account from a script because it's a script, so it doesn't matter if you're able to access this. You can actually call get auth account user. And this will allow us to return, if we wanted to say auth account, we can return, I think it's storage paths. And we can return an array of storage paths. So if we do this and we clear this and run it again, it should give us all the storage paths. And you can do the same thing for private paths, right? So this is pretty cool, right? And also pretty simple to be able to get the storage paths and public paths on an account. So if you're interested in just getting those, boom, that's I just showed you how to do that. But if you want to get a little more complicated and we actually get into the iteration part here, this is what's most interesting, right? So what this next part is going to allow us to do is loop over all the storage paths and do something or get some information on those paths. So we're going to do that for storage paths, for example, because why not? So the way that you do this is there's actually a function. We can actually go ahead and click on, I believe it's this. Oh no, this one. So if you go ahead and click on this link, I'll also put this in the description for you. This is the documentation that sort of describes what these are doing. And they actually give you an example here. So why don't we take a look at this example together to sort of get an understanding of what's going on. So you can see that basically this boils down to, they've saved some numbers to account storage. Usually you never do that. Usually it's just resources, but let's just stick with the example. So they store, some things to foo1, foo2, foo3, and another variable to foo4, right? And what they do is they say account dot for each stored. So that's a function that loops. That's a new function that loops over all the storage paths. And what you do is you pass in a callback function. So this callback function is going to get run on each storage path. And what it does is it'll give you the path that we're currently inspecting, the type of the value that's at that storage path, and then you either want to return true or false based on if you want to keep going. So let's say in your callback function, you find some information and you're done. You return false. Otherwise, you return true to keep the iteration going. So in this case, what they're doing is they're looping over all these storage paths right here, these 4 that they have, and they're saying if the type at the storage is a string, so obviously that's going to trigger on this one, then we save bar to the 5th storage path and we return false because we want to stop iterating. Otherwise, if it's not a string, we just keep going. So pretty basic example here. What I'm going to show you in my example to make things somewhat interesting is I'm going to show you how to get all the IDs of all the NFT collections that you have in your account. So let's see if I can do this. Let me actually take a look back at my cheat sheet. Okay, so that's my little cheat sheet that I have. So I'm going to call this let iteration function, and I'm going to specify the type of this. So it takes in a storage path and also a type and returns a Boolean. And this equals a function. So we're making a callback function right now. Function path, which is a storage path, type, which is a type, and we're going to return false, or sorry, return a Boolean, and we're going to specify what goes inside this callback function right now. So what we want to do is eventually we want to return an array of arrays of UN64 values, and this is just going to be all the IDs of all the NFTs inside our entire account storage, right? So we can just make a let IDs be an array of arrays of UN64 equals an empty array. Okay, and what we're going to do is say, okay, we're going to iterate over all of our storage paths, and we want to check if, first of all, the number one requirement we want to check is if the thing that we're inspecting is actually an NFT collection. So let's try that. So if type, remember, type is the value, right, of the thing at that storage path. So what's actually stored at that storage path? If that type is a subtype of non-fungible, of a type of non-fungible token dot collection, then we want to do something, okay? So otherwise we can keep iterating, it's not going to do anything. But if what we're currently inspecting is a subtype of a non-fungible token dot collection, we want to keep going. Now, because we're using a non-fungible token type, we have to remember to include our import. So let's just go ahead and do that really quickly. Pretty cool. And yeah, so let's keep going now. So now that we've done this, we want to actually get the IDs on the collection. So let me look back at my cheat sheet again. Okay, cool. So we can say let collection equals auth account dot borrow, and we're going to borrow a reference to a non-fungible token dot collection from the path that we're currently inspecting, right? And we can force cast this because we know it exists because we're iterating over that current path, right? So now we can just say, okay, IDs.append collection.get IDs. Or I guess maybe a more simple way of putting this is let the collection IDs equal, collection IDs right here. And this is simply just an array of UN64s, right? And then we're just going to append that to our array right here. So collection IDs. And then we're always going to return true because we're just going to iterate over everything. So theoretically, if this works, and then we're going to return IDs. So if this works, let's try it. And of course, it didn't work. Oh, it's because I forgot to put a little set of extra parentheses right here. Okay, let's try it again. And all right, I clearly did something wrong. Okay. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I can't believe I just did that. What I did wrong was we never actually iterated over the account paths. I just made the function. I totally forgot to actually like run the iteration. So the way that you do that is you do oh, I can't believe we did that. Auth account dot for each stored, and this is the most important part, and then we pass in our iteration function right here. So again, it's going to take our auth account, right? It's going to iterate over all the storage paths and pass in this callback function when we do that. So now, if we run this script, we should see we have an array of arrays. So these are all the NFT collections I have in my storage, and for each of these arrays, those are the IDs that I have. So for example, for this random collection, I have this set of IDs and this set of IDs, right? So, pretty interesting. If I wanted to be a little bit more specific, maybe we can make our return value a little more interesting. Let's say we wanted to return, I don't know, a type that maps to an array of non-fungible token.nft references, right? Why not? That way we can see all the NFTs inside of our account. So I'm going to make this a dictionary. I'm going to make the return type a little more interesting, and we're going to call this displays instead. Okay, so what we're going to do now is instead of just appending the IDs, we're going to now get a reference to all the NFTs in that collection and return that instead. So let's just say let temp be this is written wrong, an array of NFT references equals an empty array. Then what we're going to do is, we're not going to store this. We're just going to say for each ID in the collection IDs, we're going to say temp.append collection.borrow NFT with that ID. Okay, and then we're going to say, all right, displays at the type that we're currently looking at, right, in this callback function equals temp. And then we should be good to go. So if we want to, if I've done everything correctly here, which I probably haven't because I never do, we'll try it. And of course I haven't. I'm missing a closing bracket somewhere. Where might I be missing a closing bracket? Oh, no. Oh, right here, I think. That is wrong, maybe. What is missing a closing bracket? As the viewer, you probably are seeing this right now, but I'm not. And this is straight. What? What does this say? On line 15? Oh, it messes up, right? Oh, I forgot a parenthesis here. All right, now we should be good. So this is pretty interesting. We get a whole list. Look at this. I wish I could format this better, but we get a whole list where, it's basically saying, okay, this is the type. This is a touchstone blah, 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 that collection. And with that collection, I have these NFTs. This NFT right here. Now in this one, in my awesome collection 4, I have these NFTs. So anyway, yeah, it just allows you to discover things inside your account. So overall, really cool. And remember, you can also do this on public things too. So for each public, and we can pass in like a public path as well. I won't bore you with how that would work, but you can also do public if you want. Change this to public account. And yeah, so anyways, lots of cool stuff you can do. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you understand, account storage iteration a little bit better. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.